Okay, so we're going to start to learn how to do eyes with color and shading, and we're only going to use one eye. So you can see, this is just a reference so you can see where I'm going. Um, the light is coming from that direction, so pretty much everything else will follow that. There is a weird highlight right under the eyebrow, which I kind of circled lately. And remember that, I'm sure you've seen this and noticed this before, if you look at an eye, like the iris, the colorful part is a little lens that goes above and like raises off of the weight of the eye. And it's clear, it's glass, so not glass, but like it's clear, so you can see right through it and the light travels through it. So if the highlight hits the top right, you will see it go all the way through and hit the bottom left. Now that's the color I'm going to be using. You can see how dark I can get and how light I can get. And just to start out, I'm gonna lightly sketch some of the contours of the eye, the area. And remember, I don't have a grid that I'm looking at right now, so this is just me eyeballing. This is not, you have your own contour to look at. This is not something that you should follow directly by action. I would make sure to get those highlight shapes pretty down pat because that will help make an eye look realistic or not. And then when you're pretty confident with some of the lines, you could go a little bit darker. Another thing I think that is worth pointing out is eyelids are not, like your eyelashes don't come from your eyeball, so there's a little bit of flesh that I show. And this also depends on how zoomed in on your face you are. Anyway, so to start with the color, I do the same kind of light pattern all over, and then I go darker around the highlight, and I do a dark line through it to kind of bring that texture home. And I think I'm probably going to go back in on that later. Oh yeah, as you can see, the white of the eye does get shading, just like any other object. So I did a really bad doodle of a sphere up there with a light source on the upper right. And you can see, same exact thing is an eyeball. So yeah, there are my eyelashes coming out of skin, because that's where hair grows. I'm not gonna lie, that like pink part of your eye, I usually don't focus on so much. I usually make the shape, add a little bit of value, and squiggle a little bit. I could probably go a lot more intense on that, but I have not gotten there at that point. I can elaborate further in a breakout room if we need it. Yeah, so just keep shading what's relevant. Sometimes I don't even do that much of an eyebrow line, but that will give me a shape that I want to fill in, starting with pressure for each hair and ending lighter. And now I'm just going to get intense around the eye socket. And I mentioned this earlier, but be sure to leave, there's a highlight right underneath the eyebrow towards the outside of the face, so you can see I'm avoiding that. Now, this is one angle, but just to see what it might be like on another angle, remember you're trying to get that dome. So I have that there, and then similar, like paying attention to where the shine is, paying attention to what side that means the light will be. You could see the eyelid really like covering around. It has dimension. And the eyelashes can come from there. Oh, and there's my nose. It's a very bad nose. You're gonna leave it alone. Don't bully my nose. That's my light arrow. You don't need to do that. That's just for you to have a point of reference. Ba-bam. So those are two angles, and I can go further in it, but this is just to help get you started. And this is a thing that I will constantly start out too light on, and then I want to go back in on, which you'll have or you won't. But I'm excited to see what you do. I hope that this little eye tutorial is of some value. And again, I will give you more info as time goes forward.